Hello, I am Mark Archibald from First Baptist Church. Today I am talking with Lisa Ratzlaff, who is a missionary that our church supports in Zambia with SIM. How are you doing today, Lisa?
I'm doing good, thanks.
Good. Well, I have a few questions for you today, and one of them, I just wanted to get an update on how things are in Zambia. So can you tell us a bit about what things are like currently in Zambia?
Well, currently we're almost finishing the rainy season and we're enjoying the rains in Kasempa where I'm living right now for the last 5-6 years. The rains have improved. Last year the harvest was good and kitchens have been more filling, but overall Zambia continues just to be a difficult place to live for everyone, especially those who are in the rural areas where expense or things aren't available, or you rely on farming, and so you don't really have a proper resource of finances. So, I mean, even spending of money has changed. For example, a tray of eggs, which is 30 in a tray. When we talk about kwacha, and I know over there it's all about dollars, but here it's kwacha. Last year, a tray of eggs was like 35 kwacha, and every 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, it would increase to 45, 50, 55, and now it's almost 60. And when I came here about 18 years ago, it was 20 kwacha. So it's funny how you can really count the rise of expense, and that's just one example of many. Like even home expenses changes. A 50 kg of bag of beans, which is a common thing for boarding schools to buy. It used to be maybe 800 kwacha to buy, and now it's almost 2,000 kwacha to buy. So even at a boarding school where I'm working as chaplain, the school fees right now are 1,500 kwacha, and it hasn't increased for a while, but when you put that into the bag of beans, a comparison, we wonder where the food is going to come from. And even the head teacher last year, talking to the girls, she said 1,000 of your 1.5 is for food. So even me, when I think about that, it's like, where does that 500 times all of those girls doesn't cover a lot of the other expenses. So life is not easy. No. And a few years ago, I put a picture of graduation, and we do sacrifice and we do put money aside and we do budgets, and so because we still want to look smart, but and education is important to most girls or most families, and so trying to find that 1.5 is very important. So people sacrifice even though it looks like life is okay, but it's a struggle.
Yeah.
It's a struggle.
Yeah, and I think even though as you describe things with the money, even though we might not know how much a dollar versus a kwacha is worth, we still, when you hear of like in a very short time that a tray of eggs doubles in price, we can understand that that's very significant. So, yeah. So speaking of some of the things you were talking about at the end, your role has changed a little bit in the last little bit. Can you tell us a little bit about
that? You mean from the time I came to Kasempa?
Yeah.
To now?
Yeah.
Well, when I came to Kasempa in 2015, SIM told me to go and discover what kind of youth ministry opportunities were here. And I did do that. And along the way, my efforts and my trying to get involved and do this and that with 2 or 3 different leadership groups, it worked, but it didn't work. And so in 2019, when SIM was really listening to my struggles and my efforts and not really establishing myself in a real way, because the leadership that was there just busy doing other things. And so when Mukingi girls approached SIM and said, Mukingi Girls has been looking for a chaplain for so many years. And when SIM saw their request of a chaplain and saw my struggles with other youth ministry activities, they put things together and asked Mukingi Girls, what do you think about Lisa? Would that be a good thing to put together? And, you know, last May, SIM said, what do you think about this position of chaplain? And I said, actually, it's something that I've been thinking about all of these years already. Because even in 2015, I got involved with Mukingi Girls on a weekly basis. And so I saw the need and I heard the need and I thought, I think this could be good. And since June, when I officially became chaplain, it really has been a good fit. I mean, there's been hiccups, ups and downs, but overall it's been good. And I'm still working through my 1 year of putting things together. So yeah, I think it's going really well.
That's good. And so Mukingi Girls that's a school for girls, I assume? Yes,
it's a mission government school. So the mission part is because it's a church school. The church that is involved with this is Evangelical Church of Zambia. And that's through the missionaries. They got connected to the church. And then eventually the church said, we need to become a government school. So the church is still influenced, but it's very much a government school. So it's been working under that umbrella for a long time. Okay. So it's a boarding school and the girls come from all over the country. And it's actually one of the better boarding schools in the country, even girls coming from 12, 14 hours away.
Really?
So, wow. And the fact that it's a church school is very positive. So, and usually we get good results when the girls do their exams in grade 9 and grade 12.
Okay. So, what ages does it tend to work with?
It's grade 8 to 12.
Okay. We just experienced some technical difficulties, such as the age of Zoom and also speaking across a massive ocean and from one continent to another. So Lisa's still on with me. So Lisa, what's something rewarding that you've currently been working on in your ministry in Zambia?
Well, to start with, I saw something as I was settling and putting things together, even thinking about what we needed to do for 2021. And so I came up with an idea of having someone come and do some traditional cultural teaching for the girls, which is one thing that parents do with their girls growing up. But because these girls come in grade 8 and sometimes they're young and then stay pretty much all the time for 5 years, they don't have that chance. And so together with the life skills that I used to do when I was in the Copper Belt and in Southern Province, I invited 2 ladies to come, and they started pretty much the beginning of February. And Mrs. Kabinda, who is from Kasempa, she was doing what we call in Kaunde, which is the local tribe here in Kasempa, Kumwengi. And Mrs. Mashuta, who was one of my youth long time ago, she's Auntie Emmy to the girls. She came and did life skills. And so while Amelia was doing one group of one grade, Mrs. Kabinda was doing another grade, doing 2 different things. And so in 3 weeks, we've been able to do the grade 9s and the 11s and 12s while we wait for the grade 8s and 10s to come because of exam results. And so that has been a rewarding thing that I've been doing at the school. We definitely see the teenage attitude in some of the girls, but I think for the most part, I think they got something out of it. So, and it's good. So Kumwengi, just to explain a little bit more, is just a traditional teaching that helps the girls know what it means to be girls and what they need to know for growing up. And for those who are young, it's a different kind of focus. And then as you get older, and then there's even another different kind of training for those who get married. But it's all that traditional cultural, what do you need to know in your next stage of life? And so some of the parents have even called even Mrs. Kabinda saying, what you are doing, we thank you.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's been good for the last 3 weeks.
That's
And
really
even
good.
when the grade 8s and grade 10s finally arrive, just because of how we do exams in Zambia, Mrs. Kabinda will continue while Emilia goes back to the copper belts, and we'll continue and finish, because I really want to get the grade 8s, because I see that if we can lay a proper foundation with physical and spiritual teaching, they will grow differently, and their
Hmm.
attitudes will be different. So
Okay.
yeah, and the school is very excited about this new idea that the chaplain has brought in. So
Hmm.
yeah.
That's great.
Mhm.
It's great to hear like how different thing, how there was a bit of a struggle for a few years that you described earlier, but then there's this intersection and kind of colliding of ministries and aims and that sort of thing together, both with you and with SIM and with the girls' school that you're working with as well. It's really exciting to hear, to go through a
Yes.
period of frustration where things just aren't clicking, and then have something
Mhm.
that works together like this and collaborates like this. That's really exciting to hear.
And I would say I've been collecting a lot of resources over all of these years, because one of the things that the girls like to do is watch movies. And
Mhm.
I've always been collecting, not just for myself personally, but in the idea of doing it with the youth. And
Yeah.
so I have a good growing collection of movies that they are actually appreciating.
That's
So yeah.
That's great. That is really great how that's
Mhm.
all coming together.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, so in your ministry currently, what's one way that our church can continue to pray for you?
Well, where uh, just where I become a leader, a spiritual leader to the school, not just only for the girls, but the staff as well, just for wisdom and discernment, and to be able to know how to serve those who don't care about God, who don't want anything to do with him. Because I saw very quickly that, a boarding school is a mini world, right? And yes, it's a church school, but because it's a world in its own, you are going to get that mixture of those who don't care, those who are not sure, and those who are wanting. And I would say the troublemakers and those who lag behind, those are the ones that, who's God and do I really want to know him? So just to be able to know how to handle that, because I have a Christian background, I have a church background. And so the idea of someone not really caring, it's like, okay, how do you handle that? Right.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll be sure to pray for you in those ways.
no,
Well,
thank you.
yeah. Well, thank you very much for your time with us today, this update. We're always glad to hear from you and be able to pass on what ways that we can support you and what news is going on. So thank you for spending this time with us today.
I appreciate your initiative. This is a good thing.
All right.